Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Broyans farm. So today is a pretty exciting day. The corn maze guy got a hold of me yesterday and said that he's going to be here at 9 to 9:30 a.m. and right now it's about 8:45, so I got out here a little early. Just wanted to get some video, show you guys what's going on before he gets here. We're going to talk things over and then he's going to start cutting it. So I got my drone here, so I'm going to get a lot of great good footage from above. Obviously I got my GoPro. I'm going to be videoing from the ground, and so hopefully everything goes well. So far I've been checking the corn about every couple days now, because he's needed me to let him know, because he likes to cut the corn around 3 to 4 foot high. He said that's the best height for him. And so I texted him, told him that, you know, it's 3 foot, and he said okay, he's gonna be out here within a couple days, and today is finally the day. So right out here is the cornfield. Right here in front of it is our pumpkin patch. That way you can kind of go in here on the side, where this is where the entrance is going to be, and then you'll go through the entire corn maze, which is this whole field out here, and then you will come out somewhere right here within the pumpkin patch. And then, you know, there might be little wagons here. I don't know exactly how I'm going to have it set up yet, but that way if you want to get a pumpkin, then you can. And you know, you get to see the beautiful pumpkins when you come out. The corn looks really good. We had to plant it crossways. Like usually when you plant a cornfield, especially to harvest, like everybody does, that's kind of why you plant a cornfield, obviously. You plant it in one direction. That way it's easy for the combine to go through and get all the corn. Well, for a corn maze, you want to obviously get corn by the end of it, but your main thing is you want the corn to get tall and to be thick. So we actually plant it in 2 directions, kind of like a grid. That way, you know, people can't see through the corn and see, you know, where the paths are going to be. So the biggest thing is that you want, you know, thick, healthy corn. Like you can see right there is a little bit of a light patch, but the corn is still there. So that means eventually it's going to catch up, and hopefully it's going to do just as good as this corn right here is doing. And I was out here like 3 or 4 days ago, like I said, and the corn wasn't near this big. It's like it's growing like crazy now. We got a little bit of a shower last night. That really helped. And so as long as we keep getting the good amount of rain, you know, everything should go as planned. This field also lays a little bit wetter than our fields back home, which is kind of good because so far this year has been pretty dry. So the corn maze guy, Don Watts, just got here. Just got his mower unloaded, got some papers signed, and then he also gave me a couple of quick exit in case I want to make them, you know, just in case the family wants to get out faster than, you know, actually doing the whole maze, and then some other signs and a banner with my name on it. So far everything's going great. He's getting stuff around, and then we're gonna head to the field. Okay, so here's the corn maze and the pumpkin patch. Obviously the pumpkin patch is out front, that browner field, and then the corn maze is in the back. You can see some lighter patches right here in the beginning, but like I said, the corn is still there, so I have a lot of faith that that's going to catch up eventually. And so the back left is kind of a wetter portion, so that little section there is not going to be used. But besides that, this entire thing will have about 2 miles worth of paths through this. Okay, so Sarah, Don Watts' daughter, is the one who's cutting the maze. She's been out here now for about a half hour. And with the drone footage, it looks awesome. And this is how wide the path is right now. If I want to make it wider, I can, but this is all she's going to do. It's doing a pretty good job of not only mowing it off, but mulching it up pretty good. So now my job is to go through with my mower and just cut these stalks off shorter, and then hopefully maybe mulch some of these bigger stalks up a little bit. And then if I want to, I can go through and spray it dead. That way it doesn't come back. But Dawn did tell me that it is going to want to grow back a couple times after I cut it, so it's important I don't let it get too high or I won't be able to see where the rows are at. Right here is where you walk in, and this is the first tee you get to, so you can go right or you can go left. Now, just from designing the maze, I remember that this path right here goes nowhere, and obviously once this corn's higher you won't be able to see anything, but this just kind of goes around and dead ends right out there. So then they're gonna have to come all the way back, walk back this row, and then cut out into here, which that'll take you then into more of the heart of the maze. And you can kind of see the top of her mower out there going right now with the GPS system on it. So Don said that obviously when he's cutting, he wants the ground to be fairly level and not so rocky. I do see here that she hit a little bit of a rock, not that big of a deal. And so we had rye planted, then the rye, you know, was sprayed and killed. And so that will kind of keep the weeds down and kind of make a nice bed just for the people to walk on, so it shouldn't be so muddy. If mud does become an issue, I might have to take care of that, whether putting straw down, but I don't think it should be too bad, just because, like I said, this rye was pretty thick and it's making a pretty nice bed. So out here, even being able to see everything, it kind of, you know, gets you messed up. You can go that way, which that kind of dead ends, but once the corn's taller, it's not gonna be easy to see what's going on. And then you'll go around out through here. And then out here is where the Broyan then starts getting spelled out. So the path is pretty thick. This path right here is 54 inches wide, which that's his mower deck. So Sarah is about 3/4 of the way done with the maze. As you can see, so far it looks awesome. I can't believe how perfect she can do it and how good the GPS is. So I'm gonna go out here and get a little bit of a close-up video. I won't be able to talk much because the mower will be going, but you'll get a little bit up close, you know, instead of just all from the drone. She'll come back through and get this little section, but this must be one of those wide paths that they do. When you're on the ground, not up in the drone, it just looks like nothing. You know, it just looks like a bunch of lines. And then once you get up there, it's just crazy how, you know, it all comes together. It's cool to see, you know, you got paths over there, you got paths there, paths all over here. Dawn told me that there's actually about 2 miles of paths through this thing. Not that you'll be walking 2 miles to get through this, but if you would walk every single trail throughout the maze, it could be 2 miles. He said typically on average a maze this size should take about a half hour to 45 minutes to get through. He said some people will get through in 25 minutes, some people might take an hour and 15. But that's why he said if I want to, I can make quick escapes. That way people with kids, you know, that don't want to be in there any longer can get out and, you know, get to their cars or, you know, whatever they need to do. So I was talking to Don, really awesome guy to talk to. And he was told me how he got into this whole thing was he used to actually work on a farm himself for about 7 years until he decided to go into graphic design. And I guess that was going pretty well. And that he kept a good relationship with that farmer. He asked him to come back and do a corn maze. And Don Watts didn't really know what a corn maze was, but he said, you know, I'm willing to do whatever. So he tried it. He said it ended up turning out pretty good, but he had to do everything on pen and paper, grit it out, go through and spray paint it. And he said that's actually the way he did it for about 15 years until, you know, GPS got more advanced and more reasonable. And then he obviously got this mower and the GPS system, and now his daughter's helping him. And now, so far, he said he's cut over 100 mazes this year. And he said he likes to cut 2 mazes a day. He said between the, you know, like 5 and 8 acres. But he said he's done up to 4, which he said that's his record. He said typically on average, a maze goes for around, you know, maybe about 4 to 6 acres. He said this is kind of a fairly big maze, but he said he's already done them up to 14 acres, but he said that gets to be a lot. He said that takes him about all day to do just one maze. And, you know, kind of people get a little bit tired after they're in a maze for an hour and a half. So he said between the 5 and 8 acre range, he said, is kind of ideal. So if you are looking to do a corn maze, thinking about getting into it, definitely get hold of the corn maze guy. That's what he goes by. I think I'll have a link and everything down below with his website. Awesome people to deal with. Him and his daughter, great, had no issues at all, and very, very reasonable on price. And right there's the exit. And she's out. So that's a wrap. Awesome job. So this is the machine they use to cut the corn with. Just a Ferris mower, and then this is just your GPS screen right here, right? Yeah. That you go off of, and that's kind of like your monitor. 54-inch cutting deck, and obviously it can get messy. She's had an outfit on. And bigger, knobbier tires, that way they don't get stuck if they get into any kind of mud. Roof, glasses, and then there's the design. Really, really cool. Okay, so it is now actually 3 days after the corn maze guy cut my maze. He said ideally 2 days is when he should go back in and remow it again. And so I'm just hopping on the mower now, and I'm gonna head out and start to remow it. He said I might have to mow it 2 or 3 times. He's not 100% sure. I just got done mowing. It's, I think, around 8 o'clock, 8:40. And so I flew my drone up because I wasn't sure if I actually, you know, got everything. And sure enough, I did miss 2 little sections, which wasn't a big deal. I'm not gonna bother taking my mower back to that whole maze just to do those little sections. I'll probably just take like a knife or a machete or something and go back through tomorrow and cut those a little bit. But as you can see, the corn actually grew quite a bit in those 3 days, more than I thought it was going to. So I'm really glad I got in it when I did. And it didn't take quite as long as I thought, but I did stop a couple times just to eat and, you know, those kind of things. So I think it took right around 2 hours to do it, which was what it took the corn maze guy to cut it. So, you know, I think I was kind of right on track. But so now basically all I'm doing is waiting for the corn to keep growing and to see if those little stubbles keep coming back up, because if they do, that means I got to go back in and cut it again or spray it to kill it. So that'll be within the next probably week, I would say. I'll get that figured out. But for now, I'm gonna head home. So as always, thank you guys for watching, and always remember, it ain't much, but it's honest work.